players, next level. Power moves, yeah, bezel. You got the power, stay settled. Next level, next level.
Okay, what's good, hustlers? You know, it's your boy DaShawn Taylor. I'm back with an exciting episode. This is actually a really serious episode. So if you're here for, the scamming and all of that stuff, I'm going to strongly suggest that you go ahead and click delete because this is not the show for you. This is a strictly health show. Y'all know I'm all for the culture. This is not power players if I don't have the real power players inside of this room. So I'm super excited. So let me first off introduce a person that I respect. Now, outside of the health thing, and she's been a monster when it comes to this publishing game. So again, y'all know I always talk to the cogs in the wheel and the people that make this engine move. If y'all never heard of Boss Status Publishing, y'all crazy, number one. You know what I'm saying? You're not a true book fan because Boss Status been putting stuff out for the better part of over a decade. So it's been amazing products that's out there. So I want to introduce master herbalist and super book publisher and an amazing, great person, Miss Aja Bowman. Welcome to the show. Happy to have you on.
Thank you. Greetings, family.
Yeah. Listen, man, this was a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I started Power Players, I was like, all right, there's a lot of people out there I could talk to. I know you see these memes on social media, and it's like people go out and support Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they'll leave their real people on red. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I refuse to put something out without talking to my crew first. So you're definitely part of my crew. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, invite you to the show. First off, how's the publishing going, man? How you been enjoying this new wave of post ebooks and things like that? How have you been enjoying the industry?
I've been like publishing at like a much higher rate now. I love it. Love it. I've made my granddaughters authors. They are 1.5 and 3 years old, and they are publishing on Amazon. And I love it. I'm 10 toes down with it even more now because of the in-house help.
Yeah. No, that's good. And it's crazy because how long, because when I'm trying not to to my own horn and say I've been in the game for 1 million years, but how exactly long have you been publishing for?
So Mimi went in. So the other half of Boss Status Publishing, Boss Status Publishing was founded because the founder and who I jumped on board with was going to prison. And she wanted to speak out. Shout out to Mimi Harrison. She's been, not only just publishing, but publishing her own works, but she's been publishing other works as well. So because she was going into prison and she did her first book from a publishing house. It just seemed to be a little expensive. So I normally get behind the scenes and go, wait a minute, I don't know. I think we can do it a little cheaper and do a little better job, more behind it. And so that's how Boss Status Publishing was formed. And it's been over 15 years.
Wow.
It's been over 15 years we've been publishing.
Wow. Now let me just jump on what you were just saying. Okay, so one of the things, my pet peeves, not about the industry, but just like about creativity in general. Notice how you just said, people can go to these large companies and you could publish with anybody. Right now you could publish with Amazon. There's a bunch of large publishers, book babies out there now trying to take full advantage of like the indie artists. But there's something about someone with real creativity that understands the styling of a boutique project. So it's, and I implore a lot of these large celebrities, they put their projects out, and I get it. You got these large publishers and everybody's like, they can do this for you and they can do that for you. But the problem is when you put your book out, it's a cookie cutter project. You know, they're not giving your project the attention that it really needs. Now, of course, everybody's going to run your project through the pipeline. They're going to throw it on a conveyor belt and say, okay, here's your story. Let me just put it out. But there's something about a boutique shop that gives, you know, attention to detail, that's basically going to understand their clients, that's going to understand the author, you know, and what the story needs to do. So I'm really glad that you touched on that, because Mimi could have went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? She could have went to, there's a bunch of large publishers, and I don't want to put nobody on blast because I don't need no cease and desist orders, but there's a lot of people that could be like, yeah, she could have definitely went there, but it's definitely something about getting in the trenches, really putting out that art, because truly, and I don't want to sound like too, you know, too biblical and too crazy with this, but truthfully, your book lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? If it's done right, your book will sit on the shelf in somebody's library, you know, whether that's a business library, a school library, somebody's personal library. If your book is good, it's going to last forever. So that's how you got to look at your project. So that's not a little shameless plug for anybody that's looking for a boutique shop, you know.
Exactly. Shout out to you and Next Level Publishing, because that's how we, you know, became friends, and how we, you know, grew our relationship. And I definitely learned a lot from you, because I was a baby in the bed. You had already been publishing, and like I learned so much from you. But yeah, like we're not all Michelle Obama, where people are around to take our books and put them on the platform. So we need people who care about our project, people who understand what we're trying to convey, and that little engine that could behind the scenes to help push these projects forward.
Yeah, and it's and again, if you're an audience member right now, you watching and you want to know how I curate, you know, the people that come on this show, it's people that I respect. Point blank, period. This is not a drama show. This is not a hit, you know, show or anything like that. Like literally, I've watched, you know, dozens, if not hundreds of authors, publishers, creators, you know, basically elevating this industry. And my goal is to really highlight what's going on behind the scenes. Because you hear people talk and chirp all the time on social media, like, oh yeah, I'm working on a project. And then 2 weeks later, a month later, you see the book out. But the question is, how'd you get from A to Z? How did you get from concept to now your book being on the show? There's a lot of people that's behind the scenes that's making it happen, and there's multiple, you know, jobs that need to get done. There's creatives that need to get done. So, you know, Boss Status Publishing, you guys are definitely in my top 10, you know, my top 10 list of publishers that really push this quote unquote African American movement forward. And again, you know, I just want to give you my, you know, digital flowers, because you definitely made an impact in this industry. So I definitely want to give you a green check mark for that. You know what I'm saying? I give you the proverbial pat on the back. So with you elevating now, like, you know, in the industry, and that, you know, first of all, I can't even speak about, you know, what you're doing for your kids and the next level that's coming up. That's just crazy. And to show them the industry from now another side, because they have so many tools now. Like, you know, me and I had Eric Gray on, shout out to Eric. I had Eric Gray on a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about this whole concept of us being the AI. Like we are the official intelligence that started this whole thing of, what does a cover need to look like? What does your interior file needs to look like? These are not just simple questions to ask. When you open up that book and now the interior looks like your cover, and now your cover looks like, you know, the city that you grew up in, or it feels like that moment, like those are hard decisions to make and hard things to accomplish. So with you going to that next level of, you know, putting the next generation on, where do you see the industry going, and what's your thoughts on the creativity and things that need to get done for that? Like, do you have any, you have any insight of what we should be looking for in the future?
Well, I don't know if I'm so tapped into the industry that I can say what we should be looking forward to, but I will say, from knowing the author's side in the story, how intimate a lot of people are with their works. Like, they're just not out there throwing out works to, you know, they have a story to tell, and they want it told properly, right? So then there's the AI side, which is very, very advantageous, is very helpful. But we don't want to lose our authors. I watched the episode where an author was being interviewed, and they took his works and uploaded his works and had AI write like him. And he was very like, oh, that doesn't sound like me. It actually did, because it picks up on the points, right? That like how a person would sound, the lingo, the setting, so forth. So, but it did lack these small pieces of authenticity. That's where I like to keep us. Like, we still want to be authentic while using AI to help, propel the brand or propel the story. But we want to tell it because AI is telling the stories. Like, we have to remember that AI is being trained by us. So it's telling the stories that we're giving it to tell and have intellect that we've already given it. But there's always, like, I like when someone says, well, it's greater than fiction. This story, like the way this thing went down, could have never had, like, couldn't have been typed out, couldn't have been written out. It's real life. I love that animation that's inside of us that is always growing. I don't want to lose that to AI and become, and because I've used AI on a cover too, right? And then I see how I'm getting this cookie cutter look.
No question.
Where the cookie cutter, I'm like, why do all the children in there look this way?
The same, right.
Where are these children coming from? When we look so vast, not just African American, all of us, we look so vastly different. So there's that piece that I say, and what I like to remember is that no, you can't just give it over to AI and say, hey, produce this project. We need that author. We need that person's thoughts and visions and history and past to develop what we see and continue to see. That's so, amazing. And I think about like movie producers like Jordan Peele, like his mind is a three. I just like how he doesn't have the everyday thoughts on things, and I feel like AI has to catch up to be able to think like that.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, and of course, when it comes to AI, I feel like I need to put my 2 cents in it, because it's just that's where I am now. So the book that's behind me is called Black GPT. Always got to do a shameless plug, you know what I'm saying? Because it is exactly what it sounds like. And I think what a lot of people what they don't get is that you're not going to be able to replace humans, and humans are not going to be able to replace AI. So the thing is just like a tool. It's like when the calculator was invented. Now everybody, I could go back to articles in the 40s and 50s when people were talking about how calculators should be outlawed in school. Like, you could literally read the articles and they sound exactly how everything sounds like about AI today.
Cryptography.
But the biggest arguments was that, people will become dumber and not use their own brain, blah, blah, blah. So calculators were at one time was the big bad guy, right? It was the big new tech on the street where people could take it into the schools. They could take it on, to the workplace. And it was just like, nah, don't use a calculator, use your own brain. Well, what people don't understand is, in order to solve complex equations, you also need tools in order to do that. So there's a difference between trying to figure out your monthly income, your household income, than trying to figure out how to put a man on the moon. There's a totally different calculation. Absolutely. And if you're trying to put a man on the moon, trust and believe you're going to want a calculator for that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to use your own brain to try to figure out this complex equation that's basically going to say, if you foul up in a small, minute manner, you're literally going to destroy the lives of the people that's trying to make it there, the people that set up everything. So there's a lot at stake when it comes to solving complex problems. Now let's wrap that all the way around with AI. There's a difference between doing a book cover and actually trying to solve world hunger. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a lot of complex problems that we're going through now. And I feel like AI can definitely be helpful, but it's not going to replace the soul of the person. So that's my soapbox moment. That's my PSA. I might cut that up and put it out as a commercial.
I agree.
But okay, so it's good to know that you're involved in AI. So that's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's another green check mark for you. I don't know, by the end of the show, you might have like a whole board full of check marks. You know what I'm saying?
I used to like to go into kindergarten and she put
Of course, you get the 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? 8 plus 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 plus. You know what I'm saying? So let's definitely move into what what you're doing now, because number one, we're all getting older. The blessed thing about us being in the game for so long is that we've seen a lot. We've been around the world 2 or 3 times. But the downside to that is that we're all getting older. You know what I'm saying? We got all these stories from the 90s and early 2000s, but that's only because we're all pushing certain age levels. And with that age level comes complications that comes with your body, breaking down and things like that. And, human beings need to fight against age all the time and things like that. So I'll let you start and talk about, what you're doing now, to help people, with better health and the types of things that you're actually utilizing and tips and tools and things like that. And we can definitely get into a discussion about the full picture of it.
Okay. Well, first, I would like to say I don't think that aging and getting older is a downside. Okay. I believe that we're on the other side of it's just another phase. Like we talk about being an infant, a toddler, adolescent, puberty, the things. It's just in succession.
Okay.
And we want to be on the side of that succession, right? Because otherwise, then we wouldn't be here. Right. So I don't, and so the very first thing I always say about that is the mindset. So if you feel like you're in decline, then you're going to be in decline. You have to remember that it's just another phase. This is just the way we're going. And these are the things, and you can stay as youthful as you would like to stay or would like to be, or you can have issues. I don't subscribe to, so I'm just to say, like, for all those out there, I was born in 1972. I'm 53. I'm about to be 54.
Nice.
I am more youthful than most of these 23-year-olds.
That part. My
physicality, my mental sharpness. I haven't missed a beat, and we don't have to. For all of my young ladies out there who in the 50s start entering menopause, and we go into this, this is happening. No. These are things. It's all in our viewpoint, right? Because if we go into certain areas of the world, it's celebrated. This just in America, and not just in America, but there are other places too, where it's like, oh, this is bad and you're in decline. No, we are moving on. And there's a time and a place for everything. And now our wisdom and our experience works for us and should be an example for the youth on how to come on over into the next phase without being, because I went to the other day, I have to say, and sometimes I wish I could, I don't see what I see, but I went the other day to Annapolis Go-Go Festival. This was last Saturday. And boy, the sisters was moving slow. Everybody was overweight. The brothers and the sisters. Now this is us. I'm talking to us.
Yep.
Because, and I've been around since I've been in America. I live in Honduras. But since I've been in America, I got here in May. And I'm like, and we can talk about the food. We can talk about what's in the grocery store. But we got to get some introspection. Because it's not the grocery store that looks like that, what I saw. Moving slow. I was talking to a brother. The brother was on a cane and he was in his 50s, and that is unacceptable. These things are self-induced, and we gotta do better. We can't blame big pharma. We cannot blame Western medicine. We cannot blame the grocery store. We gotta see what we can do to reverse this. So, and I don't know, I jumped kind of right on in there, right?
No, I love it. No, listen, I love it because honestly, again, the biggest point that I'm hearing, like honestly, we're young, but we're also I want to say a product of what our mindset is too as well. Because to think that it's an outside force that's actually holding us back, there is some truth to that, but that's not the whole truth. So you're right. There is a lot of, stuff that people may feel like, it's big pharma or it's big Whole Foods, you know what I'm saying? Like whoever that's basically holding us back as far as like having a better diet, making sure that we're keeping up on our levels and things like that. But a lot of that stuff, the call is coming from inside the house, you know what I'm saying? And for people of a certain age, y'all should know what that means, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The call is coming from inside the house. And I know that like we were like, oh, it's so hard and this and that. No, it's actually not that hard. It actually takes the amount of focus that you give to anything
That part.
to be better at that thing. So, when we're expert at scrolling on social media and knowing what's going on, like I know when I hear certain people talk about things on social media, because I'm there, because I had businesses to promote, to really take the mindset out is hard.
Right.
It's hard to, talk to our people about our habits. These things like the grocery store, like, so let's think about the Amish markets, right? Or let's think about these Asian markets. They have in those stores, like you're going in H Mart or any of those Asian markets, that stuff is in Chinese. They're not selling to you. They're selling to them. So these things are written in a way that they can understand and things that they want to eat. And we have to speak up for what we want and what we want to eat, what we want to see in our grocery stores. I was so I've been in Honduras for 5 years now. Flabbergasted when I went to the grocery store and started seeing all these seedless things. They took the seeds out of peppers.
Right.
Seeds than people in peppers.
Right.
Seedless cucumbers. Who was it eating the cucumber seeds? How is that a thing? Why are we in so the biggest action, right, comes for our buying dollars. I always point people to the bus boycott. We were successful because we did it. We didn't spend our money there. And we could be successful in other things. Now, we are not the majority in America, but we know that the black dollar carries weight. Absolutely. They market to us all day. So
it's part of the equation. It's part of the bottom line. Is if you don't, they call it Black Friday for a reason. And it's funny because people think it's black as far as the face, and that's not the case. That's just the time that most companies will go from red to being in black. You know what I'm saying? That actually happen a plus. Yeah. No, and I get it, because when you have been a culture and a people that's been victimized by so many different levels, of course you're going to feel like everything is against you, and you should have your guard up. We're human beings, you know what I'm saying? We're part of the animal kingdom. It's like we know like certain triggers and things are going to happen, but we also have the most important tool, which is our own brain. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to say, okay, this may not be 100% true, but let me not also use that as an excuse for me not to get better, which is the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It should be the most important thing.
Exactly. I just so I started out my journey into health in a way with growing. My mother is Jamaican, and I was always raised around. My grandfather had a garden, and like I always saw people growing. She used to sell plants, so I always saw people growing. And then I went. So I fast forward to I went to UDC. It was maybe about 20 years ago to get my Master Gardener certification. It's a very short course. It's I won't say it's rigorous, but they are kind of elitist in who they let in or whatever. I was able to get in. I interviewed. I was able to get in. But there are other Master Gardener programs at University of Maryland and around. This is in the DMV area, but they have them in other places. And so I'm like, I want to know more. Let me go to school. Let me go to class. Let me learn. got into the Master Gardeners program, completed the program, and then began because I was armed with this information. And I'm like, I don't have no backyard. I was living in Bethesda. I didn't have anywhere to grow. And I'm like,
Nice.
what,
That city backyard.
yeah, I just had this little, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with this information. Then I was on the radio at WEAC Radio. Shout out to WEAC Radio on MLK, Good Hope Road in DC, who does its part in helping us be aware. I started a garden in the back of the radio station, and all of the produce I would give to the community. I didn't keep any of it. I got Geico to sponsor it because I was working there at the time. So I got them to give me like $25,000 a year to run this garden back behind. Well, I was running the garden at Geico and back behind the radio station in DC, and just started giving the produce away, giving it away to our people, giving it away to anybody that would take it. Because once you grow, you'll find that there's so much of it. You can't eat it all.
I know, right?
The more you pull, the more comes. And you're like, here, I got 20, 25 tomatoes. I can't eat all these.
I'm not going to eat this. Right. By the time it go bad, it won't be consumed. So I agree.
Exactly. And that's how it is. So that's how then I started getting into all of these co-ops and so forth. There's a lot of us out there growing. And I know it seems insurmountable. It seems like it's not happening, but we are out there on a real like silent revolution, getting it done. And once you start joining these co-ops and different things and get in the space, then you'll see, oh, okay, so-and-so has eggs, so-and-so has strawberries, so-and-so has onions, things that I'm not growing. You know, my favorite crops is watermelon. I love it.
Where did they fall at, right?
What?
Community economics.
Community economics.
That's community economics. I know. I mean, it's the truth is in plain sight, and I know that's why they keep the music turned up. That's my analogy for it. I feel like they just keep the music up and keep people, partying and vacationing and chilling and stuff like that, because they don't want you really thinking like, wait a minute. Like everything that we need is right here. Usually it is your community that's the most important. But now you have the chain restaurants and you have the chain supermarkets and you have the municipalities that all act the same. And there you got Monsanto that's basically like, yeah, we're going to make everything seedless. So, and another part of it being seedless is that they don't want you to grow it too. You know what I'm saying? There's another concept behind you not having seeds in your watermelon and you're not having seeds in certain things, because it's like, that we grew this inside of a lab, so it's not going to come up because we own the patent to the seeds. Like, it's such a wow moment right now of just like, the group economics and the community economics is, I mean, it's not completely out the window, but like you said, it's not the prevalent way that people do business. But like you said, somebody's going to have eggs, somebody's going to have, fruit, somebody's going to have carrots, somebody's going to have this. So it's just a bunch of things that we could do better as people and not be so reliant on the, the power structure that really is only here to take. That's it.
One of my favorite movies, and I always like to point us to, since we like to watch movies, is They Clone Tyrone.
Oh yeah.
I was, they put it in the hair supply, they put it in the chicken, they put it in the music.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they did, like, it was a silent sleeper, but that movie.
But they try to make it a satire, which is, and it's funny. They had to wrap it in a satire. Like, you ever see Get Out? You saw Get Out, right?
Of course.
Do you know where they put that listed as? What genre of movies?
What?
It was listed as a comedy.
Get out of here! I thought it was listed as a horror or something.
Right. But go look at it. It's listed as it's a comedy horror. It's like, but comedy's in it, because they would not allow it to come out as a drama horror. They had to put the word comedy in there. But they'll go, they just poking fun at it, just so that it could get through the gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying? Just so that it could get, same thing with They Clone Tyrone. You got to put Jamie Foxx in it. They got to have all of this, comic relief in it. But when you really start to peel back the onion, you're like, wait a minute, this is crazy. And the
So
fact that it was another Tyrone at the end of it, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I watched it like when I watched it once
Mm.
with my husband, and then we talked about it, and I was like, "This movie is good." We was like, "Let's go back and watch it," and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the I that's one of the things I like about Don't Eat Your whatever. So I said the Wayans Brothers movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Me and my boys still quote that movie. Oh yeah, don't drink your hood, don't drink your juice in the hood. Nah, we still quote that movie. Oh yeah, we still quote it. Yeah, it's
Like, to me, that was they clone Tyrone without
absolutely,
them pointing out
absolutely.
message,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
man, what an excellent movie to let us know the thing.
yeah. I
But
mean, one thing with us, I mean, I hate to cut you off, but I wanna set you up for a question. I
okay.
want to give you an alley oop fast, right?
Okay.
Because one thing about us, like I feel like we're just different, right? And a level of self awareness, a level of knowledge of self will have you either think in one or two ways. We are different, right? We are different for a number of reasons. So if you watch The Matrix and things like that, they always talk about the source, and when you, from a designer standpoint, me personally, I love the source, right? Because I'm just like, I either gotta credit somebody for the source, I either gotta develop a source and hand it off to a client, because nothing happens without the source. Every project starts with a white page, right? White sheet, and then you create something, and that's the source. And I always feel like Black people, whether you want to say African Americans, whether you want to say ADOS, however you paint it, they know that everything generated from melanin, right? They know that everything generated from the source. So because we are the source, I feel like a lot of what we do is a mental fight, where some people are going to tell you, because you're melanated, because you're this and because you're that, you need to be at the back of the line or the bottom. And then when you start to realize you have knowledge of self, you're like, wait a minute, not only am I not at the bottom, it's a strong possibility that I'm actually at the top. But being at the top, again, it's not a plus. Being at the top comes with an immense level of responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So some people don't want to go to the top, like you said about drinking your juice in the hood and, the clone Tyrone. It's like, all right, I really don't want to put this out as a serious movie. I kind of need it comic relief because I don't want to be responsible for people literally waking up and actually using this as a source. So my question to you with all that, being said is, when you started to get into the side of, I'm going to grow this, I'm going to grow that, I'm going to figure out this part, can you talk about your transition of going from consumer to now being producer, grower, herbalist? Like, how's that transition for you mentally?
So I have to preface this with, I was in the Nation of Islam in my 20s. I joined the Nation of Islam at 22.
Mm.
So I had a lot of influence on seeing what was actually happening to us and so forth. I'm no longer in the Nation, but I would like to say I'm a forever member because I love Minister Farrakhan. I
Absolutely.
love what he's taught the women, the Black men and women specifically of America. Because our walk is different. Like, the Black people of Honduras deal with something different. Some things are the same, but it's a little different. So specifically what Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam has done for me, started, like, how to keep your home, how to care for your husband. And then growing was a part of that too. So here I have my Jamaican background, like, in the DOS, if you will, of who I am. And then I go into, and the Nation of Islam has two farms, and one is in Georgia and one is in Michigan.
Oh,
And
wow.
went into becoming one of the ministers over the farm in Georgia because I was living in Atlanta at the time.
Wow. Okay.
What I learned there just set me on fire, just set me on a course for, because once you see certain things, you can't go back. At least for me, like I couldn't turn off what I started learning. I started a website years ago, and then I let it go because I just, there are times when, we feel alone in this walk. And I set up a website called They're Trying to Kill Us.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
This isn't just for people.
Typing it in now. Now.
And what that was to take all of the products that were in the grocery store and show you exactly what that product was. And the USDA and the FDA and all of these things they have in place really don't protect us as we think they do. So now, mind you, I said I was in the nation, and so as a Muslim, we don't consume pork, right? Okay, well, there's a certain amount of pork they could put in things and not tell you.
Wow.
This was infuriating. This I like to tell everyone: if you're taking vaccines and you're Jewish or Muslim, there's pork in it. You're actually introducing swine through an injection in your body. They have purified vaccines, not telling anybody what to do, but they have purified vaccines for the Jews. If you go into a Jewish area, because they don't have swine in their diet either, then you can get the purified vaccine, different version, less ingredients. So, that's a whole nother thing. But it just started me on this spiral path, and I'm like, okay, I gotta let us know. It's yeah, it's in this. Like there's pork in ice cream, there's pork in bread, there's pork in candy, pork in chocolate. Like all of the places, there's pork in the chicken sausage because the chicken sausage, but the casing is swine. Like it just started unfolding in a way that was like infuriating me. But I'm like, I gotta let the people know. Like information is power. The more I let the people know, then the more we can stop consuming this stuff.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I need to be the producer of things. Let me start just growing my own stuff because I realized that I couldn't look to which, and I don't know how you want to look at it, but I feel like it's an open enemy. Anybody who's serving me things in the name of food, because we need food to live. And water, like it was serving me things and selling me things, and I'm buying in the name of nutrition and lifestyle. That's killing me. That's actually, a disadvantage to my health. So I'm like, okay, I'll be the source. I'll grow it my daggone self. And so that's how I morphed into the Master Gardeners program and producing for myself and growing in other places and growing everywhere. Anywhere I go, I am interested in helping someone grow something. And I don't care if we start with just one plant, because I know once you grow one thing or just an herb, anything that fruit. So I love teaching people how to grow a tomato plant or peppers. It's something you like. You have to like it. You have to want to eat it. It's something that you like, because once you produce it for yourself, then you can kind of catch the bug, catch the feeling of what farmers are doing
everywhere. Yeah.
So,
No, it's I mean what you're talking about is it's so necessary, and you would think more people would do it, but that really just goes to show you what I mean, because I know you mentioned it, you touched on it, but no disrespect to anybody. And shout out to my Caribbean brothers and sisters. I get it. I know that everybody has their own fight, but there's something different here in America.
definitely.
We are under another level of either scrutiny or some level of we need to ensure that with all of this freedom that we so-called, gave to the citizens or whatever they want to call it, there is a difference between going from 0 to 1, and you can actually do it if that makes sense. Now, communist country and things like that, a socialist country, there's other rules and laws. Here in this capitalist society, like you said, it really is just a matter of where's your dirt, Where's the water? Where's the seeds? Let's go. But the mental block of not wanting to do that and not wanting to take on that responsibility. And then, like you said, something does happen when you start to produce because you're like, wait a minute, I need to share this with somebody. Sharing it could be dangerous because if you're sharing it with the wrong people, now something adverse could happen. So I definitely commend you on bringing up that point of, you want to teach people how to, start with a pepper or start with a tomato or start with, something like this, because once you understand the process of it, now who knows, that person may come up with an innovative way to now mass produce to another level. So you never know who you're going to touch with that. So definitely, again, you get another green check mark and another digital flower from me. So I need to get a little machine. So you see, I hit the button and it shows up. How like the confetti falls, like the flower fall. I think I'm gonna work on that.
Okay.
I think I'll work on that.
That would be cool.
But no, I definitely, like I said, I want to commend you on that because I know it's not easy. So let's talk a little bit about the business side of it, because again, we are, most of my listeners and viewers are going to be, logging in from the States. And, I like to say that I'm an international player, but not just yet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, no.
Not just yet. I'm national.
Right.
So let's talk to America real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk to our brothers and sisters here and in the surrounding areas. Now that you are on the other side and you're growing and you guys are working on herbs and compounds and, just stuff that's going to help, which is what's important, right? What do you want to talk about as far as like how people can get better health? Because it's such a wide scope of, all right, if you eat better, fine, but then some people smoke. Okay, some people don't smoke, some people don't drink, is you eat a lot of sugar. Then some people are like, all right, I'm not gonna do any of that, but basically, I have another vice. So there's so many sliding scales and so many issues when it comes to health. How do you guys attack the quote unquote better health problem? That's basically, it is an epidemic in the United States, full stop. You know what I'm saying? I know they don't have a war on obesity like they used to have a war on drugs and all this other stuff, but literally the most healthiest person here in the States are still having problems because of the environment. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted to get into that and to kind of get a 360 view of what you guys are seeing as far as what the health crisis looks like, especially in our community.
So I believe that simplicity is our friend. Like the when you go out the country, you see that these grocery stores are very simple. They, even though our us melanated people around the world are like, I would say, if I had to say one thing that melanated people are suffering from around the world is diabetes. Why? Sugar. Like, we are eating an intense amount of sugar, not just like actual sugar, sweet things, but potatoes, rice, things that are white. If it's white, it creates sugar in the body. I hate this.
I know, listen, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it creates sugar. It looks like sugar to the body, and then insulin has to be produced to properly digest it. So I always say, like, those things are number one thing. Like, around the world, particularly in the US, we're suffering from diabetes and high blood pressure and hypertension and those things. And a lot of these things is just stress. Like, we are stressed out. And so I go back to what I was saying in the beginning, the mental. How are we looking at things? How are we focusing on things? How are these things affecting us? The matrix. Like, are we really in this game? Are we really here on earth, not understanding where we are in this thing? And I would say a lot of us are asleep. And I hate that for us, because we can wake up just like that. I always tell people, red pill, blue pill, Neo, go back and watch The Matrix. I've watched it so many times and I'll still watch it. Somebody like, I'm watching The Matrix, I'm coming to sit down and watch it because I'm always learning.
Right.
Where has your mind? Because I always tell people, we're in the driver's seat, you're the captain of this ship. Where are you navigating yourself? Where we see ourselves, the things we have going on in our lives are a direct reflection of what's going on in here. You don't see anyone. So health, how do we look at health? Well, you have to look at health like, are you serious about it? Do you want to be healthy? Because if you want to be healthy, then you'll be healthy. And I know that kind of sounds like, but it's the truth.
It's
And
the truth. Yeah,
you'll
it's the
do
truth.
you'll do healthy things. You put yourself in healthy environments. Caucasians know, like, they have a zero birth rate. They have for a very long time. It's actually negative. It's in the negative. They are not multiplying on the earth like we are. So what are they doing? And what had they been doing? Well, I go in it. My son lives in a very rich area in New Jersey, in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Very rich area. And he happens to live in a section that's 3 streets where his family brought way back decades ago. Black. White people have since started integrating in there, buying from their family, integrating into the area, right?
Okay.
Who I see walking around? White people. We're the black people who, this is their blocks, this is their area. I never see them walking around. Just little things to know who we are as humans on this earth. You got to move the body. You got to exercise the body. Where I am right now in Upper Marlboro, because this is a predominantly black area, right? So you see us movement, but not at the rate. If this was a white area, you would see the white.
No, absolutely not.
Down here and all around. We know we need to move. We know we need to watch what we eat. We know these things. So I'm just saying, there's the personal responsibility piece, right? That goes with also knowing, like, because all of these other things we do are choices. The things we buy, all of this weave we're putting in our hair. Now, we've heard the stories. Chris Rock did Good Hair how long ago about herbalist, right? We watched it. We showed up for that movie because we're black, right? We're gonna see. But how many of us listen? Now, there, I think it did help us go into not having as much perms, but we still perm our hair.
Absolutely.
And we're absolutely sustaining a whole nother culture with wearing the nails, the hair, the things that aren't quite. And I don't want to be like, oh, we don't love ourselves. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Right.
From a pure financial standpoint, like, we are supporting a whole
holding them down. Listen, holding them down. The stores are everywhere. The stores are like, it's you try not to think about it too much because it is disheartening, and it really does come back. And I mean, you hate to say it, it's a love issue. You know what I'm saying? Because again, with support and all of that stuff, we'll look at a black business or we'll scrutinize a black company with a fine tooth comb. You'll get a magnifying glass and you'll be like, let me show you what this black company is. I don't like this. I don't like this. But somebody is doing wrong in your own backyard, in your own neighborhood, and you will still encourage you and your own family to go in there and support them. Exactly. Make sure that rent is paid every month for them.
Exactly. We don't have the questions with other companies. We don't have the attitude with other companies and so forth. And this is not a beat up on us, but it is like, I want us to just pay attention.
And here's the thing:
dollars and
let's be honest. That there's a thing that goes around. Every time there's like a school shooting or something like that, everybody has the politicians have the same playbook, right? Something happened in a school, church, mall, wherever. A couple people get shot and killed. They'll go straight to the media, politicians say the same thing. Let's get a family privacy. Right now, it's not the time to talk about this and not the time to talk about that. Soon as we bring up this black, versus black situation, it's always like, all right, well, we can push that can down the road. When is the right time to discuss this? Because this is an ongoing issue. Like, I've been on the planet for a half a century, and it's literally the same issues that we've been going through when I was coming up, that, the rappers and the artists and everybody used to talk about how we need to come together. And it's 30 years ago. It's 35 years ago. And it feels like the needle hasn't been pushed far enough, because it's still like we're still coming back to the same thing, where there are amazing people out here that's trying to better our community and trying to bring light. And when I say our community, please believe me, for those that's listening, I want you to hear me clear. When I say our community, I'm not talking about an address. I'm not talking about a block. I'm not talking about, when I say community, I want you to think about, oh, well, in my neighborhood's nice, or my neighbors it is. No. Y'all know what I mean by community. And our community is much larger than you think it is.
No one is biggest in the whole.
Yeah, so our community is deep across the globe. So when I say our community, we actually are the majority. But that's another question. That's another topic for another day. But we are the majority community. So when I say that there's people out here, it's full on crazy. We are the majority. So you hear me clear when I say our community. You might as well just put me on the list, because I know the numbers. Yeah. But my thing is that when there's people out there that's trying to better the community, the only thing that I ask is take a second listen. That's it. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. If somebody is like, listen, I maybe have this to do this, I maybe have to, just take a second listen, because you have been programmed to dismiss. You have been programmed to understand that somebody else's culture's ice is colder. And if you don't understand what that means, please look it up. There's no such thing as a colder ice on this planet. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So again, that's my second message.
Yeah.
That's my message.
So to finish answering your question, what I noticed is that we were eating all of these processed foods. We're eating things we don't know what it is. We can't pronounce it. And so I said, okay, and this is in my ministry. This is what people have been teaching for eons, and we just got away from it, right? Thanks. Whole foods. If you're having a one ingredient item, is most likely better for you than the thing that has the list of ingredients in it. Should you be reading ingredients? Absolutely. Should you know where your things are coming from? Absolutely. Should you be asking questions about where these things are coming from and how they're produced? Absolutely. There's always on the back of these packages numbers, addresses, and stuff, emails. Email them. Like you want to know when the Jordans are coming out, or when so-and-so is going to be showing up to do a concert. Do the same research for what you're putting into your body. I always ask brothers, because I like to commend our brothers, because brothers for my business make up more of our sales and followings than the sisters. Not exactly sure why, but the younger men from ages 25 to about 60 are always responding and showing up better, like worried about their health. Like they always say, black men maybe they don't like doctors, but they love us. Right. And they're coming and they're asking about what they can do, how they can be better. And so we will point them into, or point them towards, like, so I'll say, if I had this low cost, whatever, to put in your Porsche, would you put it in there? Nobody is putting anything in their Porsche that Porsche didn't tell them to put in there. They want the thing that is going to make that car run its best and keep it in optimal condition. Well, this is our vehicle. This is our human vehicle here on earth. Nothing should go in it that isn't the optimal thing for it. We should be methodical about what we putting in here. This is the vehicle that's going to carry us in. And we don't want to, when we reach 80 years old, be in aches and pain and on medication. My husband, shout out to my husband, Asami. Bowman, Dr.
Absolutely.
Sebi's eldest son. So I call him Sebi Jr., even though he's
Nice.
Alfredo Bowman Jr. He is 67 years old and he's never taken any medication. I've actually seen him hurt himself. I also see his thumb like almost get cut off. He won't take anything for it. He's
Wow.
going to get those herbs, wrap it around there, and heal himself like he was an animal in the wild.
Wow.
Now we're not animals in the wild, and we have better technology than that, right? But like he's back with what we did before we had all these hospitals telling us what to do. We talk about these hospitals, right, in our neighborhood. And for me, in Plainfield, I'm born in Plainfield, New Jersey. They used to call, and I was born in Muhlenberg Hospital. They used to call it Killenberg because every time Black people went in there, they was not coming out.
Facts.
And this is all over. We talk about this with
Every hood got one. Every hood got one.
the names of the hospitals in LA and California, but I've heard the stories. And we know that this Western medicine isn't our best friend. So we do our part by, making sure we're being physical, making sure we're moving around, making sure we're putting the right fuel in the body. And then you don't have to really worry about someone else taking care of you and telling you, oh, well, you have this, and oh, this is wrong with you, and so forth. And then now you're going down the rabbit hole of whatever that is. Right. Yeah, we're leading in things, but we're leading in these things by lifestyle. This is not because grandma had diabetes that you got diabetes. You got diabetes because you're eating the thing that caused diabetes in a person. So my mother was diabetic, died from complications of diabetes at 56 years old. I'm approaching her age, but I already know there's no death upon me from diabetes because that's not a lifestyle. And this is the thing that we get these coming, breast cancer is passed down. No. The lifestyle is passed down. We don't want to say, well, you live just like your mom, so you're going to die like your mom. And that's harsh words, but it's just the truth.
Well, that's how they paint it. I mean, that's the first thing they ask you. And it's, like you said, it's Western medicine. The first thing is like family history and blah, blah, blah. They'll use those terms, and effectively they're saying the same thing that you're saying. Like you have a higher risk of this because of your lineage and things like that. And they want to know, what your cousins had and what your parents had and what your grandparents had. I mean, effectively, they're saying the same thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, right, you have to say it a little bit harsher for people to kind of snap out of the trance that they're in. But I want to keen on to something that you said, which was very interesting. The one ingredient food. I mean, that's great. That's great, because the one thing, and I've been a follower of Dr. Sebi for the better part of probably 13, 14 years, right? Mm-hmm. But not religiously. And that's no fault of Dr. Sebi, but it's not religiously just because of me and the quote unquote lifestyle of just being in the industry and being 15 days on and 15 days off. It's like really, it has to be a concerted effort to want to do it 24/7. But I do understand the acid versus alkaline lifestyle and things like that. And one of the things that I remember him saying is live food, live body. Dead food, dead body, right? And that's a very strong statement, because the one ingredient food is real. You know what I'm saying? If it's celery doesn't have 19,000 additions, to it, unless it's something that's being sprayed on by another human being that doesn't have your best interest. So I do like that, and I appreciate you bringing that up. But the diabetes thing, that's interesting. So that's kind of number one, what you see like issue wise. I'm assuming blood pressure is number two. That I know heart disease, period, in America is.
Yeah, but I call it the trifecta. It's the trifecta of Black America. And that's exactly what we see. I would like to say another thing that we see, and it's an uptick in this, is herpes.
Wow.
I mean, these youngins, and they're young, they're 22 and 23 and are, now you can arrest the virus in your body. That's a whole nother conversation, because, it's hard to get people to eat in a way or even think in a way that they can arrest something in their body because of what Western medicine tells us, but you can get the herpes virus out your body. But there's also just, the social issue of it all. We're sleeping with everybody. We're hypersexualized. The music is taking us all around and making us feel all. And it's like, so we're not.
Creep on a sleep on a creep.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I know I'm butchering it, but it is whatever. Creep on the sleep.
Right.
Sleep on a heat.
I've been hearing it because I'm on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, and I know where it comes from. And I'm just like,
you couldn't pay me right now. I know this is probably like blasphemous to say. You couldn't pay me to be 20 years old in this environment. Ooh. I'm good. Yeah, like I always joke with my people, like I love college, I love high school. Don't give me a phone in high school. Yeah. Don't give me a phone. Don't give me an iPhone in high school. Oh my God. Oh no.
I couldn't imagine, especially crazy. With the things that the way I was thinking and stuff like that. I'm so glad that I didn't have to deal with that.
No question. Yeah. Yes.
And I'm really cognizant that children are dealing with this social media, this invisible place that's very visible.
Nah, it's insane. If y'all get a chance, watch a documentary called The Social Dilemma. It'll floor you.
It's called The Social Dilemma?
The Social Dilemma. It'll floor you. And I want to say it came out like 4 or 5 years ago. Like they talk about suicide rates, and it was and that, again, this is a half a decade ago. It wasn't even, so you just imagine. They were trying to blow the whistle back then and sound the alarm back then, but it was it was crazy. Social dilemma. It was pretty serious. But so I definitely I want to talk a little bit about, because I do like, if anybody could take some stuff away from this show today, I really do want you to understand, like, without sounding like a jerk or whatever, but you got to remember your health is your responsibility. I know that there's a precedent set, the Tuskegee Project. There's a bunch of precedents that's out there that, yes, there was a concerted effort to do, people of certain cultures harm, right? But there's also a level of knowledge and information that was unavailable at the time. We are in the information age. We are in it. There is nowhere on the dawn of it. There isn't way to tell. We're in it. We're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of the information age. You could at any moment seek out the information that you need. I will repeat that again. You can at any moment turn off the TikTok, turn off the YouTube, turn off the Netflix, and lock in and find out what you need to find out. With that being said, you also have to understand that your health is your responsibility. Your health, you have to be your own health advocate, if that makes sense. You build a team around you to help, whether that is your doctor, whether that is your family, whether that is your nurse, whatever. But at the point of it is you. You're the center of it. So the needle's only going to get as pushed as hard as you need to. Now, that's not to say that people are not going to give you wrong information, but at the end of the day, you have to go out and seek it, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm loving what we're talking about today with the triple threat. Because I didn't even know we were going to talk about herpes today, but come on, God. Come on, y'all. Like just the numbers that I've found out that I've been researching, I don't even post it because it is just downright scary. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to put that energy out in the air, but when you find out the real numbers, the difference. Now, again, these guys are smart people here in the information age in 2026. They'll tell you that their lives are better than people that lived in 2006, 1996, 1986, 1976. But when you look at the numbers are astronomical. So something's wrong. There's a disconnect somewhere where the information is there. So why is the hypertension levels up? Why is the diabetes numbers up? And this is based off of all this information, all this technology, all these medical breakthroughs, all this stuff is going on. Why isn't the numbers going down? You know what I'm saying? Because people were moving a different way. They were moving a different type of way back in those days that y'all think was, people were stupid and dumb, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't know no better, you know what I'm saying? But that ingredient food, I love that. I'm gonna write that on the wall. Can I steal that from you? Is that possible to take that from you?
Okay. Take it, use it, pass it on. Yeah, the less ingredients, the better. And especially if you can't pronounce it, then you shouldn't be eating it. The less sugars, always say shop on the outside of the grocery stores. The inside are things that are preserved on their own. The preservatives are in it. On the outside are things that need to be refrigerated. So therein lies is like right there, less ingredients or on it, just.
Oh wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So so let's talk about you. Right. Let's get more into you.
Okay.
So you are Dr. Sebi's daughter-in-law, which is crazy. How has the elevation been? How has the growth been from you kind of being, inside of the family and understanding the responsibility that comes with that? Because I'm always going to go back to responsibility, because again, everybody wish for a better life, everybody wish to elevate and things like that, but also keep in mind that with more blessings comes more responsibility. So be ready for that part, because that part's not easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now that you're, like I said, now that you're kind of here, can you talk a little bit about what you and Asami basically have been seeing and producing, and are there any positive case studies that you want to talk about? We don't have to talk about exact names, but let's talk about the success stories, you know what I'm saying, the people that came to you guys and you was able to kind of steer them to a better path.
So my husband is a straight shooter. He is real raw and kind of rough with it, but I like that because he's not going to hold your hand into delusion. He's gonna just shoot straight from the hips. The first, a lot of things we see is people have gone through Western medicine. They've gone through chemotherapy, like cancer patients and stuff like that, and they have stage 4 cancer, and it's like, oh, I think I should try herbs now. No, we're not miracle workers. Like, if you have gone through all the things, then these herbs are not because again, remember, it's a part of the mindset. If you already think you're going to die, then you're going to die. I love that story that Dave Chappelle told in his last last stand-up.
Yeah.
And he talked about his comedian friend who had AIDS, and he was like, let me take you to Dr. Sebi so he can heal you. When I tell you I love this story, because at the very outset of the thing, he said, I saw my friend and he was looking sick. And he wasn't quite himself. And I asked him, what's going on? He said, man, I'm dying. That's a declaration. If you say you're dying, you're dying. There's nothing no one can do for you. The doctors, holistic medicine, Sebi, no one. If you make the declaration, then it has to be so. So if you can avoid giving yourself a declaration, if you can stop saying, oh, I have cancer, I have diabetes, I have high blood pressure, and then turn it back in your mind, the things, because remember, everything we see starts with a thought. For our biblical people, our religious people, in the beginning there was the word, and then the word was made flesh. So if you can produce the thought that you want to see as an outcome, then that's what we'll see. So he's always straight shooting with, that what's going on in your mind? Where are you with this? Do you want to live? That's the first thing when he has a consultation. Do you want to live? Because people have already resigned themselves to death, and there's nothing we can do with that. So we don't need to sell you any herbs or any herbal compounds or give you any advice, because you've already made your deathbed. So go on and lay in it. And this isn't to be harsh, but it's to be truthful and actually, not play games with people's health. But then we'll go on the cycle of, okay, well, what are you eating since you want to live? And then put them on a certain regimen. A lot of people, once they come to us, they already know, I got to make some changes here.
Right.
have to, because a lot of people, you talk to them and they'll be like, I ain't trying to make no changes. They want that pill like Ozempic. Well, I want to do what I want to do, but I want to take this shot and lose weight. Oh, okay. Well, then we don't know what all the consequences of that, but you're gonna have to find out, right? If that's what you were trying to do, because there's nothing that can replace discipline in someone who has become intentional about their life. Absolutely. And health is a part of it. Is just be intentional about it. I want to live. Okay. Well, if you want to live, well, we can help you. We can help guide you to the things that we can't live for you. You got to do it yourself. But we can help guide you to the things that'll help you live and live a better life. So eating one food, one ingredient foods, herbs. We used to have gardens and herbs and live in areas that had the woods behind us, so we could go out and so right here, I'm on a golf cart course in Upper Marlboro. Soon as I pulled up around here, I'm like, there goes yarrow, there goes burdock, there goes mullein. Like, I'm looking at all the herbs around here, like educate ourselves on what's around us. This is not just trees and bushes and things. These things grow here for a reason, and they're for earth. Well, we've been using, the animals have been partaking, but these things are for us. So I went out there as soon as I came here. My friend, his foot was bothering him, and I'm like, well, there's yarrow outside. I went outside, got the yarrow, cut it up, put some olive oil, and I'm like, put it on your foot. Yarrow is what was used back when there was war. They used yarrow to seal wounds. You could be cut up and put yarrow in there, it will close that wound. And I'm not talking even back in the day. There was a young lady that came to my husband, and she had hit her head on the side of a aquarium, and she had a big gash right here, like a nice size gash on the side of, and he went and got the yarrow. He said, here, put this in your mouth, chew it up. She chewed it up and he plastered it. He is not like the way it was happening. I was like, I don't know what's about to go on. I watched that thing heal. She came back the next week and it was closed. She didn't need any sutures. She didn't need anything. The yarrow healed the wound. These things, these plants and these herbs are here for us, for our healing. And I know it's what they always say, the lack of knowledge is why we perish, right? We get to learn more, know more. So our thing is, let me educate you. Where do you live? I can tell you what you should be looking for around your area and what can be growing around your area at what time. The animals don't have the advantage of having things shipped into them. Right. So they have to eat what's there when it's there.
Right.
And we should be eating similarly. We really shouldn't be eating things that I got some persistence.
You could say it, McDonald's. You can say it.
I got some persimmons not too long ago, and my friend's sister is here, and she was like, no, persimmons are out of season. And I was like, this is disgusting. Like, automatically, I didn't even want them. I threw all those persimmons out because I want things that should be in season or that are in season. Wow. So it's the best way we can live in America. And not just in America, no matter where we are. So in Honduras, I know, I'm like, okay, it's orange season. Like the oranges are red, the limes are on the trees, the mangoes are on the trees. We like, oh, the mangoes are coming. We start seeing the mango flowers. We like, the mangoes are coming. They're gonna be there. And then when they come, there's so many mangoes. Like, you be like, oh my God, there's so many. But I preserve mangoes for a time when mangoes aren't growing on a tree, and we can eat them and enjoy them then. But even if they aren't, even if you don't preserve it, it's for when it's there. So when they do grow. So if we could just learn these little things and go back to something because we want things so complicated, they have become complicated, then we can, just kind of move it back to like Little House on the Prairie kind of time.
Right.
I know we actually don't want that.
No, listen, I don't know what's going on in 2026, but that's been that's kind of been the prevailing theories, is keep it simple. And this is just in a multitude of things that I've just been studying. And, I always feel like I need to plug my head up with something. Like I just keep learning. And I've always been moving with this whole thirst for knowledge. And I've been hearing a lot from that sometimes you have to literally keep it simple, because what the truth is and what we could actually make happen literally is around us.
The scents, the things that we're spraying on our bodies, those plugins in our homes, those things are chemical compounds that are dangerous too. The cleaning products, all of these things that we like for smell, the candles. I mean, again, back to simplicity. Keep it simple. Keep those scents on you simple. Keep those scents organic as possible. These, without naming them, but Creed and Tom Ford and all that, they have created a chemical compound that you spray on your skin, and then you feel like it's designer, but you're spraying designer synthetic chemical compound on you, which is no good for you. We got to go back to the oils and keep it simple. Gotcha. Keep it simple. Ask the questions. Where did this come from? What's in this? And if you can't be told the ingredients, then you should think twice about using it. I smell great. My husband smells great. My husband is a chemist by trade, so he makes all of our scents. He sources them from, because he used to do scents. He used to do cosmetics. Was one of the thing. Yeah. So he creates that, but I didn't even know till I got with him. I'm like, oh my God. I don't, you know what I mean? We gotta throw this out. But I'll listen. I'm like, okay, I'll throw it out. And then the fabric softeners. What are you washing your clothes with? What are all the little fabric sheets? What's in that? There's something, our largest organ is our skin, the clothes. These cheap clothes, this stuff from Shein, like, it's not so cheap. We're paying for it in cancer. The uptake of cancers have come, especially in women, because men's clothing hasn't changed so much, right? I'm talking about how it's manufactured, where it's coming from, right? But theirs is kind of like the same. You don't hear about men being on Shein and Fashion Nova like we do the women, right? Mm-hmm. And so the women are wearing all this, and all the influencers is, oh, get this, get that. Mind you, the best fabric is breathable fabrics, real fabrics. We need to get back to cottons and silks.
I know. The cotton silks, right. The leathers.
If it's synthetic, if it's a chemical, I mean, this is literally plastic that women, this whole yoga craze. So the little young healthy ones is like, well, or so-called healthy, why did I wind up with breast cancer? Well, you're wearing plastic all day in your clothes, and it is a problem. We have to go back to wearing some burlap and wearing some cotton and just linen and keeping it simple.
Wow. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. I think the simplicity of it all is probably why it's so important to implement, and why everything feels like it's so heavy. Like, not, and I don't mean heavy like material wise. I'm just talking about why is it such a strong push to keep everybody asleep or keep everybody distracted. Like, I know we're in an economy, we're in a attention economy right now, even with the podcast. It's like, okay, well, we got to consistently talk to people, and we got to consistently stay in everybody's face, and we got to consistently be posting and stuff like that. But there's such a strong sense of misinformation, which is, I feel, is the most dangerous thing, for Black people or our community right now. Just the misinformation that's out there. I think it's information overload. I think the human brain really wasn't designed from the time that you wake up until the time that you go to sleep to have an overload of information and so many points of views and things like that. So now it's really time for you to, I won't say push back because that sounds too combative, but to discern between what's fact and what's fiction, and keep doing the deep dive. Like you said, there's a simple, there's a simplicity when somebody says, oh, just read the ingredients. But let's be honest, when you turn in the item around and read the ingredients, but you're gonna know like 3 names that's on there. Everything else you got to do the research. You got to get active. You got to find out what that is. You got to find out what these 24 consonant words are. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out what this means. So I think a lot of this being proactive and being aggressive about it is going to be important, you know, for anybody that's trying to, like you said, that want to live. Like that is a real question. First question, do you want to live? All right. You know, let's do that. Play it like the Terminator. Come with me if you want to live. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? So it's real talk. I know I'm such a movie guy. So.
No, me too. I'm the all day long.
All right, I'm such a movie. I'm always quoting the movies. But no, I definitely appreciate your honesty on this thing. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to do was make it, you know, again, a lot of this stuff is going to be education through entertainment. But let's talk a little bit about what's important for our community to get involved with, right? CMOS is, you know, CMOS is everywhere, right? People, I remember a time like, and I hate to put a date on myself like that, but I remember a time with just saying shea butter was like a curse word. Yeah. You couldn't even say shea butter out loud, you know what I'm saying? And it was about 20 years ago, you know what I'm saying? They said the word shea butter, and it's like, I'm not putting that on my skin. Where is that from? I think it comes from the bush, and it comes with that. You know, people used to always, you know, try to clown it and stuff like that. But I felt like sea moss was like that 10, 15 years ago. When you said sea moss, it was like, what? What is sea moss? So I smell it, and it smells like it comes from the sea. I'm not drinking that. I'm not eating that. I'm not, you know, cooking that or doing whatever. But now you can't get rid of it. It's on everybody's, you know, timeline. It's on everybody's post. Everybody has a version of it. If you just talk a little bit about what people should be looking out for.
Yes, alchemistasami.com, y'all.
Love it.
Where, you know, and so I like to say this too, because Sebi, you know, started the family off on all these things. And then, you know, the children and the grandchildren normally take it to another level. So my husband, being a chemist, you know, went in and did his chemistry thing, like learning the body from a molecular level and so forth. And that, but so let me just say this about fads. There is no one thing that cures everything. It doesn't exist. We're a complex organism, right? And we're made up of mostly 3/4 water, right? We should not. The first thing I would say is that it's a myth that we need to drink so much water. That came from the bottled water industry. We don't need to drink I don't want to curse. We don't need to drink a ton of water to be healthy. The best water you can drink, it comes from watermelon or cucumber. Cucumber is like one of the highest sources of water, more than watermelon, right? So get you a cucumber and absorb some natural water. Coconut water, not the kind that's in Costco, like the kind that's in the coconut. That water, like it's not processed. Get somebody to open you a coconut up and drink it. It has electrolyte for days in there. That is the real Pedialyte. That is the real Gatorade. You know what I mean? Just get you some coconut water. Sea moss was made into this thing, and it's gone viral, right? Not just because of Left Eye, but sea moss is not a cure-all. But yes, imbibe. If you can get your hands on some sea moss, get you some sea moss. Moringa has more properties and mineral replenishment in it than sea moss, but it just wasn't made like hype like that. Think about kale. When we were younger, kale was not a thing. Kale there had been kale around, but kale was not a thing.
Yeah, it was literally on the side of your plate.
It became commercialized, and now everybody is like, "Oh, I need kale." No, you don't. You don't. You can have a little bit of kale, but you don't need kale. So we have to think about when things become commercialized. Another thing is I tell people about this pink Himalayan salt. Stop it. The pink Himalayan salt has been commercialized. The Chinese have gotten a hold of it. They know we're using it. And so they've started producing it in unnatural numbers and selling it to us. And so it's not the pink salt that we think it is. Now, if you can find some pink salt from a natural salt, natural source by all means. But that's not what we're getting. We're getting stuff that is being sold to us. So sea moss is like that. Sea moss has become commercialized by the Chinese, and it is not the sea moss that Dr. Sebi was once talking about. This is something else. If you don't know the source, I wouldn't mess with it. It'll probably do you more harm than good because of how it's produced. And with these seed oils and so forth, moringa is great. Find you some moringa, add it to your diet. If you just can get the powder form or capsules, we have moringa in quite a few products on our site. But get you a moringa seed, grow you a moringa tree or plant. And it grows effortlessly, very easy to grow, and the benefits are just like off. It's higher in minerals than sea moss.
Wow.
So mineral rich. The nettles, stinging nettle, is great for all of the being higher sources of minerals than sea moss as well. So we don't want to be in fads, and we don't want to be in one thing. We want to be mineral rich. We still want to make sure we have greens in our diet. So spinach is great. If you're eating greens, which, because I have two sources of how I eat, because again, I told you I was trained in the Nation of Islam, and we didn't eat slave foods. We progressed into knowing that we eat the things that are best for us,
absolutely,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So kelp, which is bladderwrack. Bladderwrack is a great source of minerals. It's another sea vegetable like sea moss is. But I'm not telling you don't eat sea moss, don't incorporate it in your body, but into your diet. But I am saying try to find out where that sea moss is coming from, because they've done with them. And because the mineral world and supplement world is not quite regulated in terms of how they label,
right? It's everywhere.
So they don't have to say organic. They don't have to say wild caught or farm raised or whatever. So you don't know. So the more you can find out, the better you know. So I would say our sea moss, we know where it comes from. We source it from the same place Dr. Sebi was sourcing his sea moss from years ago. The relationships have remained intact. And we are located in Honduras, and we bring these things over to the United States.
Nice. What's your thoughts on like soursop? And I believe it's pronounced graviola.
Guanabana.
What is it?
Guanabana. Guanabana. Guanab.
Why can't I say this?
I don't know.
I'm supposed to be this world class author and publisher.
Okay.
And I can't even pronounce this thing. What is it?
Guanabana.
Guanabana
is the Spanish.
I'm going back to high school, man. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. I can't pronounce this thing. We're gonna cut this out.
Listen, I have to know it, because in Honduras they are not playing around unless you're in Roatan, which is where they speak English, because it's the tourist area in the island. We're inland. We're on land side where you can drive to us, and
nice.
And so they don't play that English stuff there. Like, you need to speak.
I know, that's right. You gotta speak the language, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so soursop you like?
Yeah, soursop we love, and yes, and it has anti-cancer properties in it. And so we like the soursop leaves that we sell. We have them in our teas, and then we just sell them straight, the leaves, on our website. I hand pick them. I go out there in the tree, because we have soursop trees all over our property. And then, if I feel like I'm picking too much, and I go to my neighbor's property and get theirs, because everybody is growing. That no one is doing anything with those soursop leaves.
Right.
I get them.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Now, that's a fruit, right? Soursop is a fruit. It's okay.
It's a fruit. The leaves is what they say have the anti-cancer properties.
The actual leaves. Okay. So what is the best way to consume these things? Like, I know that you mentioned the burdock root. Now, again, I'm going to act like I don't know anything, because I really don't quite as pet.
Okay.
How are you consuming? Not you, but just in general. Are you preparing it? Like, if you do grow a tree in the back and things like that, how are you preparing it for consumption?
Okay. So depending on what it is, okay, so like sea vegetables, like sea moss, bladderwrack, things that are fishy. So I don't really like the fishy smell. A lot of people don't like the fishy taste of sea moss. So we dry it out and we capsule it. We dry it, break it down to a powder, and put it in a capsule because it's the least invasive way to ingest it, to get it in at high dosages, right? And then it doesn't have, like, it's not being processed. We're not heating it. We're letting it sun dry, and we're just letting it dry out, pulverizing it into a powder, putting it in a capsule. That to me is the best way to get people to introduce it into their body. Because if I say, oh, okay, well, here, just add it to your salad and just put it in your tea or whatever, a lot of this is not palatable. And so we know if it tastes nasty, then might as well take it. So
That's why the sweet stuff was usually. I think I was watching a video talking about information overload. I'm probably the king of that, but watching a video and it was talking about how sugar in certain things causes things like glaucoma, and it just was basically breaking down how everything came back to sugar and acid, which I did appreciate because it really does give you a sense of sometimes you do have to eat the celery instead of the candy bar. You know what I'm saying? Like you do have to. Yeah. I mean, it's a figure of speech, but yeah, it's more or less like, the bitters usually are the things that's actually helping instead of hurting. So I do appreciate that. So I'm asking you this not from a medical standpoint, but I do know that it's hard to go into a health food store, and this is from a personal experience that I've had, but I also know people that I talk to all say the same thing. You go into a store, it basically has everything on the shelf, right? And everybody's always trying to get you to grab everything, whether it's silver or whether it's beet juice or what. I mean, it's so much stuff that's there. Is there such thing as taking too many herbs or too many compounds? Like I'm being funny when I say this, but can you have a herb overdose? You know what I'm saying? Like is it possible to have too much? And how do people find that balance?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we are consume. This is the information age, and we are consuming so much. So, and then depending on how you like to be marketed to, then you'll pick up on those things, right? Like, and remember, the algorithm is like alive. So it's like, oh, okay, you want a health kick, then bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Throw it all at you. Yes, and that's why I like to say there is no, like, first it starts in the mind, right? And then it starts just real simple. What am I eating? What is on my plate? Because the things that are on your plate are really the sources of these vitamins and minerals, right? Now, should you have to supplement because something is going on, you shouldn't be in a perpetual state of, I'm fixing myself. We should be whole. We should know animal is running around. Like what animal in the wild is like, I need herbs today. I need, I'm feeling a little that, but they will, like, cause I watch my dogs and, the livestock around my home. And, the first thing that my dogs stop doing when they're not feeling well is they don't eat at all.
At all.
Just stop.
Yeah. They'll eat grass or something, but they'll look at that food like, nope, not doing it.
Like I'm let this move through. And the animals, now we're the smartest animal in the kingdom. We're the top. We cannot let our canines and cats outsue us.
Right. Supposedly we got supposedly we was given that task.
Right. That's why I be telling everybody. I'm like, no, animals have humans. Like, we don't have animals.
Around here, animals are smart, man. They smart. They like, wait, you sure you want to go down there? I'll tell you a funny story. And I couldn't have been no more than like 19, right? So I stopped eating pork in 91, right? Because like you, I was also in the nation. And I understood if I was one thing I could take away from that time was my diet. Like I stopped eating pork in 91. I stopped eating beef in 93. and I stopped eating in certain restaurants because, and I'm gonna just shout them out. Shout out to McDonald's. Y'all serving poison all the time. So I was eating I was eating French fries. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was on like a bus stop. So I threw the fry out. I seen like these birds, and I threw a fry out like on the ground and waited for them to eat it. Hey, smelled that joint, looked at me, and flew away. And I was like, "They like, you eating this? Like we would never touch this. What you doing eating this?" And I was just like, "Oh, I need to rethink my diet.
For real.
Like, what am I doing?" You know what I'm saying?
The never disintegrating French fry. Like,
Oh my God, yeah, the McDonald's burger that was sit and look the same after 20 years. That's scary.
yeah.
Scary.
And if it's doing that on the table, you know what it's doing in our body. And remember, our body is supposed to be ever flowing, forever moving things out. I also shout out to the nation with the 1 meal a day. We should be intermittent fasting. We do not need 3 meals a day.
No
We
question.
don't need 5 meals a day. We don't need 3 meals and snacks. And we don't need all of that. You need to give your body time to digest what it's already eaten. Give it time. And we talk about autophagy all the time. Autophagy is when your body is not working on digesting food and decides to go in and get rid of bad cells. So the longer you can go without eating, the better your body is off with dealing with what's already in there, what you've already done to it. We are self-healing. This is a machine. It's a great machine, and it works. We could just give it a little boost.
Now you're spitting that. You're spitting that knowledge. So I'm gonna throw something to you, and I want to get your opinion on it. I heard Dr. Sebi speak in Philly, and we were, it's a long time ago, but I'll never forgot it, right? Because he said, which scared the bejesus out of me. He said that you should definitely do a 7-day fast. Then you should do a 14-day fast. You can do 21 days. And then you should do a 60-day to the point of where you're really only kind of eating once every 90 days. Now, when he said that, it was like, all right, I get it. And again, this is almost 15 years ago, right? But I understood what he was saying because it seems like the fasting clears up a lot of the toxins. And I'm not just talking about physical toxins. I'm talking about emotionally, spiritually, physically, socially. It just feels like when you pull yourself out of the matrix, like I did a 30-day fast from social media, and I felt like my whole brain just like opened up. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I turned everything off. I was like, no. And another crazy thing that I did was about 3 years ago, I did a football fast. Like I didn't watch any sports. And my brain opened up. So it was like a bunch of stuff that I kind of do, once in a while. But I see like the minute you pull yourself out of certain things, the world just kind of opens up. So what's like the longest that you guys would suggest to do a fast for in the Asami world? Not necessarily Sebi, because Sebi was just he was a soldier. Yeah, he's a soldier. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he did a fast in front of us that was 60 days, and literally all he did was like, I think he did broth. I think he did like a vegetable broth like once every like 10 days. And it was like, I don't know how he did it. I just don't know. So what's like the fasting times that you guys kind of, give to the people that you guys work with? What's like the longest that you guys would suggest?
So we do a 21-day fast.
Wow.
And we do, first of all, we fast all the time. We just had a friend who came. I just had a friend who came. He was diagnosed with colon cancer. And I'm like, oh, okay, you got colon cancer. You need to stop eating.
Period.
It's in the colon. Okay, you need to stop eating. So he came to Honduras and stayed with us. And so we did 3 days on, 2 days. 3 days on,
Off.
3 days off, no food.
Yeah.
2 days we would eat because this is his first time fasting. So we like, okay,
wow.
We shut the house down. We like 3 days, no food, 2 days we're going to eat. And we did that for 30 days. Now, and we took that approach because of who he was. So depending on where you are, then we can do different things, right?
Absolutely.
And what's going on with you. But I would say, you know, to get someone to fast for 3 days is quite a feat, because people are used to eating, and people are used to, you know, people can't outrun their mind. It's really drug. I mean, the food is like they make the
No
food.
question. No question.
So
It's literally, listen, it's eating is a ritual. That's part of the daily human ritual. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of it. The part of it is like, it's funny. I forgot what I was watching. It was like a movie, like, it's nothing like come home after a hard day's work, to your wife cooking and blah, blah, blah. But then somebody in the scene kind of said something crazy, and then they kind of shifted around it to say, yeah, but the question is, what are you eating? Because that's another part of it too. If you're saying like, I'm living for the weekend. I forgot what that song was. And living for the weekend or whatever. Yeah, like I'm being good all week, and then when the weekend come, I'm eating all of this stuff, I'm barbecuing and all this. But if you're doing that on a monthly basis, you're technically saying 8 days out of the month you're eating like crap, and that's crazy. That's inexcusable. So no, I definitely would. I'm not far off base, or you're not far off base when you say that it is a drug. We're not talking about in a traditional sense. But yeah, your brain is accustomed to doing certain things and having a certain ritual and having a certain, rhythm to it. And sometimes when that rhythm is knocked off, sometimes it could be, could have an adverse effect.
Yeah. So we'll start you off with, like, let's go into it. Let's just have fruit for the first 5 days, and then we'll go into nothing for 10 days, and then we'll end it with fruit for 5 days. Like, just to get you acclimated, and then we'll move into more difficult things, and again, depending on what it is. And because to me, once you get past day 3 or 4, like, I'm on easy street. I don't even care. I don't have to eat. I'm good. I'm gonna drink some teas. Like, I'll start making teas with all these things. The tea is my thing. And I'll start making all my little herbal, things, and we're fine with it. There's nothing like having someone in the home with you that's of like mind, and knowing the goal is the same, and we're the same, and so those things, and we'll be like, okay, we're gonna eat this when we, we'll start planning
when we finish. Yeah, because you gotta have goals. Yeah, you gotta have goals.
We're gonna make this, we're gonna make that. But in the meantime, my body is going inside, and my cells, like, because then talk to those cells. These cells, I love Dick Gregory said this in one of his things. He said when he was diagnosed with cancer, he told his son, and he told her, I'm not going to tell your mother what that doctor just said. He said, because then you give 90 billion cells marching orders. You start saying it, then these cells try to reproduce it, because it starts with a thought. So no, like, make sure that you are saying to yourself, hey,
90 billion cells. Wow.
Okay. Let those marching orders be what you want them to be. We're getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. We want all new healthy cells. Anything that's in there, get it out. Like, talk to your body. Talk to it just like you talk to God. This is the God in us. Talk to it and let it produce for you the results that you're looking for.
I love it. I love it. And if you it's true, because again, you look at the environment and they actually teach you to say the different. They teach you the different part. You know what I'm saying? They teach you the opposite. Like they're powerless and you don't have any power, and everybody on the outside of you is the done data.
Right.
So I appreciate you saying that. What is 90 billion or 80 billion cells?
That's what Dick Gregory says.
Okay, yeah, no doubt. No, I'm gonna look that up though, because I like it though. It's so true. It's so true. I've been and I don't want to get too deep on down a rabbit hole, but right now I'm in my dimensions phase. So I've been studying the 4th, 5th, all the way up to the 11th dimension.
So you definitely been listening to KRS-One, because
oh no, that's my guy. What? No, that's my favorite. That's my favorite artist of all time.
Just look it up, and Claude said that the average adult human body has 37.2 trillion cells.
Trillion. Scary.
Trillion cells. Talk to those cells, people. Talk to those cells in your body. They are alive.
32 trillion.
These cells are not dead. I don't care whether they're healthy or not. Talk to those cells. 37 trillion.
32 trillion cells. That's crazy. I don't know. I might have to use that as this might be a thumbnail. I might have to use that in the thumbnail.
Absolutely.
What are your 32 trillion? What are you saying to your 32 trillion cells?
Yes, 37.2 trillion.
37.2 trillion cells. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm going to tell them cells today. I feel like a Snicker bar, so I'm going to go out there and grab something. No, I'm joking.
Don't you tell them cells that.
Don't tell them cells that. I feel like some cookies and cream ice cream. Nah, don't tell them cells that, because those cells will drag you right to the freezer and grab it. But no, listen, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate your information. First of all, I'm gonna commend you personally for your commitment, because number one, this is not easy, and a lot of people that don't grind for fame, they don't grind because they're trying to, do something from an egotistical standpoint. Like, these are the hardest, in my opinion, these are the hardest roads to travel, because at the end of it, there is no trophies. You don't get no ultimate. Oh yeah, it is. You know what I'm saying? You notice that a lot of people that's trying to help our people, their endings are not ceremonial. It's not like, oh yeah, because during their time, they're either ridiculed or, people don't believe them, or so you're fighting the great fight. So like I said, just from a entrepreneurial standpoint, I know it ain't easy. You could be pumping poison. You could be doing the opposite side. You could be telling people to drink and smoke and, like you said, get weaves and get your hair done and get it popping and scan. Like, all of that's out there. All of that's available. All of that is, you know what I'm saying? That road is clear. Everybody knows how to do that road. But you going down an uncharted path, and you got to get your machete out, and you got to cut them trees down and walk through you know what I'm saying? Like, I know that it's not easy. Yes. So again, I want to give you your flowers for that, because that's definitely a hard road to travel. So thank you. But so everybody can go to alchemistasami.com, right? And then what do you want to plug? I know that you said you're involved in the show. You guys are traveling around finding these exotic herbs and things like that to also help the human body. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So we have a show. It's called A Holistic Journey. We have 2 episodes out there so far on Amazon and YouTube. And what we do is we go out around the world and find healers in the herbs that they use. We know that herbs are regional. We know that, people tend to know and have a good thing. Like, we know about the herbs around the United States, but what about these herbs that are all around the world? Harvard has a building that's dedicated to this very thing. Wow. They have a whole building dedicated, and they send their students out around the world to find healers and find their herbal remedies, and then they turn it over to Big Pharma and synthesize it and turn it into a pill. We're saying that we can use these things. Yeah, we can use these things in their natural form, because they still work and they're still growing, and everywhere isn't quite as the U.S. is. Some places,
absolutely.
So that's what the show is dedicated to. So check a holistic. It's called a holistic journey, and like I said, Amazon and YouTube. And then also we have on Amazon a book, and it's called How to Be Human. So it's written by my husband and co-written by me, and just to bring people back to the basic, the how to live this life without being caught up in this rat race. It's still more like a matrix kind of thing on a human level, right? So we can still be human, bring you back to breath, bring you back to intentionality, bring you back to being in control instead of being controlled.
Oh, I love it. No, I love it. And if they wanted like a consultation with yourself or Asami, how do they get in contact with you guys if someone's going through, because it doesn't have to be DEFCON 1, right? People don't have to have this crazy diagnosis to reach out. You should be working on your health no matter where, where your health is. So as far as like if someone wanted to reach out, they wanted to learn more about, maybe they do have that tree, that proverbial tree in their backyard or in their neighborhood, and they're curious about how they can now utilize, how do they now get in contact with you guys?
We're at Alchemist Asami on all platforms. We have our webpage, and all of the things are on the website as well. alchemistasami.com.net, Alchemist Asami on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. We're Alchemist Asami. And also we have our WhatsApp phone numbers on there. So I'm not going to give it out, but if you get to our social media pages, you can hit us direct, and we do respond. The email is there, is info@alchemistasami.com. We answer emails. We're here to help the culture. We're here for us.
I love it. I love it. No, and I appreciate you coming on. And again, if you're watching the show, first of all, if you made it this far, you're a real G. You know what I'm saying? Because if you made it this far and you rock with us, that means you're really ready to step to it and get it, get your health and optimum. I do love the fact that you said that the body is a Porsche, because I swear some days my body be feeling like a 1992 Honda Accord. It's like, man, it is. I got regular gas in it, and it's just hurting and aching everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I like you giving that shout out to the Porsche, because I'm trying to get my Porsche level. Yes, so like I said,
you good.
Definitely, I appreciate you. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention Next Level Publishing. The whole show is always brought to you by Next Level Publishing. If you don't know, it is the first of its kind ever. If you are interested in writing your book, you're a little nervous about putting your book out, definitely log on to nextlevelpublishing.com. It is the first AI-powered platform that will allow you to speak your book into your phone or any type of device, and it'll help you write, publish, edit, design, the whole nine. So there's no more excuses. Stop calling my phone, asking me to ghostwrite your project, because right now I'm not going to do it. I'm going to send you to the platform, and I'm going to get you involved in AI, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? So hit us up, nextlevelpublishing.com. Again, thank you so much for Aja Bowman coming on here. This has been an amazing episode. Do you want to leave the people with anything else? You got any words of wisdom? You want to kick them in the neck and tell them to get their life together? Like anything that you want to basically let them know before we sign off?
No, just love yourself. Just love yourself. Love yourself enough to do the right things.